Hey again guys, welcome back. We are looking at the MX5 series that we go and have a good time at. The Manawatu Car Club organises all the rules and the regulations and stuff, so it's a bunch of enthusiasts wanting to race the MX5s, and we follow the British and international sort of series rules fairly closely, perhaps with a little few tweaks and whatnot to suit our local sort of cars. So what we have here today is one of our latest cars that we're helping a customer build. So Mike, who's going to be joining us sometime this year, will be racing this one, and we've just helped prep the cage. We'll prep some of the mechanical side of things, and he's also doing a bit of the stuff himself, just so that he can sort of have a bit of play and be really involved. So very basic. So the engine, the gearbox and the diff are all fairly controlled and standard. So you have to run, a certain intake. So from basically airflow meter backwards that way, you have to run the standard intake pipes. Anything in front of the airflow meter, so airbox and intake and stuff, that can be free. So you can have a cold air intake, you can have a hot air intake like most of us sometimes do when we're a bit younger, sucking hot air straight off the exhaust. You can lighten these up. The other thing you have to run is the standard factory headers, so to the first flange, and then it goes free from there on, obviously with a restriction in terms of tube, exhaust tube sizing. Other things, obviously safety cage, full 6-point roll cage as a minimum with a bar in the middle. So Angus, he's actually helped us build this cage in-house. We've kept this one fairly simple just to keep the weight down. We're not going to be taking a lot of weight out of it. We've taken out all the, I don't know if you can see this, we've taken out all the factory seat mounting points, and due to time restriction we haven't cut the tonneau on this side. However, on the driver's side we have had to cut and modify the tunnel a wee bit just to fit the Racetech seat that we supplied. Really comfortable seat by the Racetech guys. If you're ever going to get into racing or whatnot, I'd definitely recommend one of those. Not the easiest seat to fit in one of these NAs. We have had experience fitting them into an NA. Other things to sort of we sort of do to these is just refresh all the seals, the cam belt, make sure the water pipes and stuff like that aren't corroding or about to burst. Last thing you want is a DNF due to the fact that you've busted a water hose or something, So a lot of that sort of stuff will get refreshed. Diff wise, we run the factory viscous or the factory open, but that's a whole lot of not fun. So we try and keep those viscous diffs alive by giving them a service, a birthday, adjusting them up, and then sending them on their way. Most of them are pretty good, a lot better than an open diff, put it that way. Brakes, they have to be standard size, so NA6 brake sizes. So for this one we've put our Dexel brake pads, the racing R01 I think range, with some Brembo discs. We're not allowed to run slotted discs or bigger, the NA8 or MB big brake kits on these, just to keep everything nice and even. So a good set of pads is crucial, and obviously things like braided brake lines, good brake, high temp brake fluid, so the Motul 600, things like that will help during braking, make them last a bit longer. They'll have a good bit of bite throughout the race, so you can go up to an hour, 2 hours, like endurance racing and stuff like that, and they'll be perfectly fine. For street use, not quite good, because you do need a bit of temperature in those pads. So in that sort of sense, we'd always recommend the step down, the Z compound, or there's a couple steps down below that as well, depending on how serious or how long of a race or track day you want to go for. So very, very good pads, and they'll last a really long time. So last year we ran the Z compound, I think by the end of the season, with 4 race rounds, 4 practice rounds, and a couple of track days thrown in between, I think we've got through about half the brake pads. And same as the tyres. So tyres, we run the Hankook RS4s, a popular flavour for a lot of people, even on the street, being a 200 tread wear rating, dot rated, and lots of grooves, so good for the street. And obviously we go out on those on the racetrack, which, you know, hold the cars very well. There's a little bit of slip, but that makes it really fun. So you've got to be gentle but and smooth. So yeah, I really, really like those tyres, and they last quite well. So I think we went through about half of those as well. I don't know if, with all this in mind, I think you'll find that it's actually quite a cheap racing class. So if you wanted to get out and try some racing or whatnot, these cars being very even, you get to run them with low maintenance. I think we only use probably about 40 litres of fuel per weekend, so that's a full day of test day, 3 races. No, sorry, we run 6 races, so we run in 2 classes, the MX5 class and the SF Cup up in Manawatu. And yeah, about 40, maybe 45 litres, so we only run a little bit per race and then just top it up every race. And everything else is fairly cheap in terms of maintenance wise. Once you've done all the initial stuff like your hoses, your cam belt kit, your oil seals and things like that. So that should last you a good couple of seasons. And then if you do go do a couple of track days or other race classes and stuff like that, you know, you should still see a really busy season out of all the wear and tear items like your tyres and brakes. So yeah, super cheap class to race. Very close racing. Normally we have a field of about 18 to maybe 26 to 28 cars on the grid at the same time. The majority of the pack do stick together and run together, so you'll have a lot of door-to-door racing, lots of overtakes and being overtaken by slightly faster cars when they run things like reverse grids, handicap grids, things like that. And it's just a whole bunch of fun, you know, for not a lot of money. And the guys in the class are super awesome, you know, super friendly.
What's the retail on one of those?
More than you can afford it, pal. Miata.
Everyone respects each other, giving each other, you know, plenty of racing room. We're not racing for the Formula One World Champs. So yeah, it keeps it really fun. And so if you're interested, head up the Manawatu Car Club website and have a look at the rules and regulations. There are some dates up there as well. So that's in the North Island, taking place over at Fielding, Manfield Circuit. This coming summer, we are hoping to kick off a summer series as well down in the South Island, with the help of hopefully the organisers of the North and South Island guys. We're hoping to get a couple of rounds here in the South Island so that people down here can have a bit of play and enjoy yeah, some close action racing with these cars. So we just got the ITB bill back. Thank you again to Jason at SAS for doing the tune for us. He's done a really awesome job again, as well as squeezing us in, not quite last minute, but pretty last minute sort of deal. Yeah, so it made 182 horsepower at the wheels, peaking out at about 8,000 RPM. So lots of revs, lots of noise, and the owner was very stoked and happy. He got to drive it back from SAS this afternoon, so beaming with a big smile on his face. So yeah, big ups, and you know, to all the people that were involved, especially Paul, who spent a lot of time making this thing very tidy. So it's definitely turned a few heads once we released the photos in the first lot. And yeah, Denny, who helps us with some of the wiring and ECU side of things. So thank you to these boys, and yeah, looking forward to it, to seeing it out on the road and stuff like that. So last time we threw up a post on who can guess the closest what this thing will make, and the winner, or the closest, was 185 by Shannon Tuck. So we'll get in touch with you very shortly and throw something your way as a prize. So thank you everyone who commented and left a comment on the last post to have a guess. No, it's pretty cool. So hopefully we can do that with the next one as well, and we'll just keep throwing out some prizes and stuff. So we'll see you at the next one.
Suck it in. Right, you may have noticed I am wearing one of our brand new shirts. We've got this in a black shirt and also black hoodies. Just a little bit of homage to some old anime from Japan. So if you are looking for a new hoodie for this winter, please feel free to jump on our website and have a look. And I definitely had to suck it in for this shot before I make it all 3D. So, thank you.